BetOnline is the world's most trusted sports betting platform. It's that simple. And it's your number one source for betting on all that madness, you know what I mean? Whether you're a seasoned veteran fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline has your back. It's your number one sports betting companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything college basketball to a $200,000 bracket contest, BetOnline will continue to be your number one source for sports betting. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline is there for you. All the games, all the plays, all the odds, all the stats, all the everything. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Do you want a bite?
I'm on a diet, but thank you.
You're kidding, right? You look great. Very fit.
You can always be thinner. Look better.
Welcome to the Mikey Likes You podcast. I'm doing an episode from home with my crew. Yeah, buddy. What's up, Ozzy, Sharon? Tilly. Best. Thank you to everybody who gave me happy birthday wishes. That was really cool of you. I appreciate it. 46 years young. Feeling good. I want to talk about something that came up. I always like to talk about topics that kind of come up organically in my life. And I had a client who I work with on Patreon, and he was asking me questions about tracking. He was new to it and stuff, and this guy's really, really disciplined. He's working really hard. I agree. And he said, I love tracking and I weigh my food, and it's easier to weigh your food raw because it's more accurate. Sorry, it's not easier, but it's more accurate. But I cook for my entire family a lot. And then so I'm stuck with what to do because I'm weighing it before, and then I'm cooking a much bigger portion so that I can cook for my whole family. First off, weighing your food cooked is fine, especially if you're cooking with the same seasonings and on the same grill or pan. You can end up using, especially with the apps now, they'll weigh it either cooked or raw. You can go cooked. I tend to go raw because it is more accurate. You can always count on it. And then I eat 3 or 4 of the same things every day, which is what really successful people in the physique game tend to do. I'm not saying that I'm one of them, but I'm just saying that colleagues of mine, friends of mine, people that I respect, they may use different seasonings, different sauces, but they're eating honestly like 3 different meals, done different ways. And so it makes it very easy for me to weigh it. And then also, here's another thing, because I too have a family. And so this is another tip that I wanted to give you if you're really trying to make the commitment to change your physique. I think tracking, at least in the beginning, at least for some segment of time, a prolonged period of time, you have to track, and you have to kind of nail down exactly how many calories and macros you're looking for. It's not something you have to do forever. It's something you have to do, though, because it's alarming. Even educated people, even people who are very advanced in the fitness game, it's alarming how much you think you're eating in comparison to how much you really are. And I can't tell you how many people I've kind of either worked with or encouraged to do so, and they're like, "Wow, I was blowing my diet by over 1,000 calories just from like nighttime snacking that I wasn't paying attention to, or just because of sauces that I wasn't tracking." Blah blah blah. Peanut butter's a big one. So even though you're tracking your entire meals, and now you're preparing for a group of people as opposed to just yourself, what you can do is measure all the ingredients in total before you make it. And then when it's done, you can separate it into equal parts. You have let's say you have 2 or 3 bowls that weigh exactly the same thing. You can put it on the food scale and then make sure all the bowls are completely equal. Then you can divide it by, if you put it into 3 equal bowls, you can divide it by 3, the totals. You can divide it by 4 if you put in 4 bowls. And I've done that both with cooking for my entire family, where I will cook chicken, rice, and a veggie, or I'll cook my stand efforting muscle mash. I make that a lot, like really lean ground beef or bison, rice, broth in the rice, and then a veggie. And then I cook the whole thing. I have the totals of the entirety of it, and then I separate it into 4 separate equal parts. So I know exactly what it is. And then I'll end up eating 2, either both at the same time, or one now, one later. My wife will get 1, and my daughter will get 1. So you can start to play with it because you now know the exact amounts coming out on the other end, even though you've already weighed it in the raw form. Tracking needs to be done. It's a necessary evil, and it does make things a little bit more complex, and it does make you have to kind of apply yourself on a more day-to-day basis, moment-to-moment basis. But trust me, you won't believe what a difference it'll make, not only in improving your relationship with food, but giving you a better idea of how much you genuinely need as opposed to how much you want. I'm not someone who doesn't, a lot of people in the fitness community don't necessarily understand the having a love for food. I do. I have a love for the culinary arts and just eating in general, and the sense of joy that it can bring you, especially because I'm someone who doesn't use drugs and alcohol anymore, and I'm married, so it's not like typical sources of immediate pleasure are not afforded to me very much anymore. So food it's important, I get that, but it doesn't have to be slogging away at food you find disgusting. Especially when you start tracking and you start to recognize, well, I can get as much protein through this food, which I really do enjoy, and it doesn't have as much fat. So I'm going to do this with red meat or certain types of red meat, because I hate chicken breast, I hate white fish, whatever. You don't have to get married to kind of old-fashioned chicken, rice, broccoli, egg whites, bodybuilder stuff. But you can toy with things and find out what really works for you and doesn't make you feel like it's disgusting.
The other day, I'm at jiu-jitsu, I'm doing hard rounds, really sweaty, my man parts are grease, that stink. Sure enough, I look at the clock and I'm like, oh no, I'm about 20 minutes behind schedule to go pick up my daughter from school. I'm gonna see other parents, I'm gonna see other kids, my daughter's gonna be embarrassed, I'm gonna be embarrassed. Luckily, I had the Mando starter pack in the back of my truck. I used some of the cream tube deodorant and some of the deodorant body wipes, and head to toe, I was smelling flowery fresh. No joke! And right now, there's no better time for you new customers to get a starter pack. Get yourself some of that stick deodorant, some of that cream tube deodorant that I used. Plus, you get 2 free products of your choice, like the body wash or like those deodorant wipes that I was using. Yeah, buddy. Use the code Mikey, M-I-K-E-Y. Get yourself free shipping and $5 off. That's an over 40% saving on the Mando starter pack, and you're getting the best of the best. ShopMando.com. Please support the show and let them know that I sent you. Use the promo code Mikey, ShopMando.com.
Something else I wanted to touch on as I'm going through Project Single Digit, trying to get down to single digit body fat, is that so many people have caught on. It's like the #1 trending thing in the fitness industry is that the carnivore diet. And so I wanted to address that. I have no negative feelings towards the carnivore diet in and of itself. Certainly with the food selection, I really am happy that people are starting to see a lot of the things in the late 70s through the early 90s that we demonized, that we thought were terrible because they were higher in fat, are not necessarily that bad. Cholesterol is not necessarily that bad. Saturated fat isn't the demon of all fats. It's a fat like any other. And the bottom line is a lot of the carnivore diet is heavy in things like butter, eggs, and ribeye, all of which are just extraordinarily high in caloric density because of the fat content. I know keto guys out there will argue that, well, the higher fat content makes you burn fat more, makes you more fat adapted. That's just not true. It makes you more adapted at burning the dietary fat that you're intaking. It doesn't help you burn body fat. The bottom, that's the bottom line. There's no, it's irrefutable. That's thermodynamics, and that's kind of conclusive scientific evidence to support that. So what you want to do is, go for the red meat, go for the whole eggs. But when you're doing your whole eggs, do 2 whole eggs. Let's say you're a guy my size, 180 pounds, 5'10". I'll do 2 whole eggs with 6 egg whites instead of all egg whites. Instead of all eggs. I will do a ribeye or a brisket once a week, maybe. And I'll taper my carbs down to so I don't get my calories too high. But most of the time I'm doing flank steak, lean sirloin, day in and day out. That's what, and then I have 4 or 7% ground beef that I do. That's every damn day. All right, so it's just something to keep in consideration when you're looking to lose body fat, when you're looking to lose weight in general. Calories are the thing. You have to monitor that. That's your priority #1. You make sure that you don't want to be too far below your maintenance level, but you want to be below your maintenance level, and you want to do it for a long time. And that's all just calories in, calories out. Now, outside of that, of course, a higher protein intake, certain intake of dietary fats is going to make it a lot easier to maintain that, to adhere to it, because it makes you more full and it's more satiating, and it's also more nutrient dense. Things that certain micronutrients are going to make it a lot easier. to maintain a caloric deficit for a prolonged period of time. But that's the bottom line. You got to do it. So when you look to things like keto or carnivore, a lot of times people, they make the choice to do that. Again, no problem with it, but take into consideration a lot of the staples of it: butter, whole eggs, ribeye. These are so calorically dense that you would be better off getting the nutritional benefit of those things, the higher iron in red meat and the certain B vitamins and things like that, the folic acid from the eggs. But just pare down the dietary fat intake by mixing in a little egg white with your whole eggs, mixing in leaner cuts of meat with the ribeye and the brisket and the whatnot. All right? I love you. In this crazy mixed up world that makes you think that nobody cares, remember, I do. And I love beaver.